Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Esoteric Influences for the 8th day of July 2020. I've started this a few times, so apologies if I seem a little scattered. I didn't sleep very well last night. I didn't take my Crohn tincture, so I don't know if I don't take that. Sometimes I don't always take it every day, and I don't do tinctures every day. But they're alcohol tinctures, and I mean, you're only taking drops, but still, I don't do them every day. But I do them enough so that I don't have symptoms at night when I need to sleep. But last night wasn't that night. So anyway, we'll give it a go though and see how coherent I am here. Anyway, today's innate energy, and as we continue to stay safe from the virus, understand the greater picture and choose harmony and protection over self-interest. Listen, I've talked about this before. To me, in terms of numerology, when you look at the 2, the 4, the 6, the 8, what you're seeing is greater levels of awareness of someone other than you, right? And so you've got the 2, you understand maybe polarity within or polarity with one other person. 4, you're getting into the structure of the family. 6, you're starting to look at shared abundance, sharing your abundance with others, right? And then 8, you're getting into leadership. I liken it to the rune Tiwaz, or the god Tyr. And basically you're looking at leadership that's able to look beyond themselves and see the bigger picture, maybe even choosing something that doesn't necessarily benefit them, but benefits the greater whole. And so they're willing to sacrifice that for the benefit of the greater whole, right? And the greater good. Well, I think that that's what we need to be thinking about today. We see so much evidence of people not wanting to comply with the mask orders, to the point that they nearly get violent with people. At the very least, they start verbally attacking people. There was a video of a guy in Costco. I guess he's been fired now. Everyone figured out who he was, told their boss, that's what I guess is happening now. They try to find you who you are, and they try to either get you arrested or something. Because what they're doing, you had one lady who was a teacher, I guess. She took her mask down, coughed on a 1-year-old. Some people are being arrested for this kind of stuff. When they do that, when they come up and they grab you or they cough on you or they do something like that, they're being arrested for it. That's assault or battery or something. Or both. Depends on what you do, I guess. But I mean, it's not representing the numerology of 8 either. They're not thinking about anybody but themselves. Whatever grievance they have in their mind over all of this, it's being expressed this way. You've got people that are just behaving abominably, horribly to others, all because they somehow think that this is, I don't know, a deep state thing. Well, guess what? If the deep state did this, whatever that is, okay, because I don't know, but say there is one, say they are responsible for the virus, well, why wouldn't you want to survive to then rain you-know-what down on them, right? Why wouldn't you want to survive to do that? To call them to account, to punish them for what they've done, to have them arrested, whatever. But it's like instead you're just going to go all in with it? And ignore it? No, you can't do that. People are dying. And now they want to send our kids back to school. How nuts is that? It's like people are not thinking. And they're not choosing harmony and protection over self-interest. And going forward, that's what we need to start manifesting here in our lives. Fehu is the rune for today. It's the first rune of the Elder Futhark, known as the Sending Rune. It means wealth, cattle, abundance, life force, sending energy for magical workings, growth and success. You can use it in magical workings to send your spell. You do your chant, you do all that you do for your working, and then you can say Fehu to send it off into the universe. Or if you're doing a binding to that individual, or whatever you're doing, right? Whatever it is. But it casts that intention that you're trying to do. That particular, just chanting the word Fehu will do that. So I would recommend that. If you're going to focus your energy on healing self and others today, if you wanted to do that from a meditative state, you could visualize casting out healing energy to everybody. and use the word and say the word Fehu to do it, all from a meditative state. Reiki masters do it all the time when they do distance healing, when they do distance Reiki. I know because I'm a Reiki master. You do not have to have the person there to do a Reiki session with them. You can do it distance-wise. You agree at a certain time, basically, and say 2 o'clock on Tuesday. We're going to sit down together. You're going to sit where you are. I'm going to sit where I am. We're going to, focus our intention to one another and make that connection to one another. The Reiki master begins the session, and the other person on the other end feels the benefit. It works. So monks do it all the time when they get together and chant. You get together for a big meditation, whole bunch of people all over the world. You can affect so much change. People who do prayer groups for healing, healing, just for healing. They get together and they'll have maybe a dozen people or however many. They come together in a prayer group. They can affect profound healing. So you can do it as well from an aligned state. So just do that. Go into meditation. If you want to try that today, that would be lovely. We are in Aquarius until Pisces at 11:13 a.m. my time, Pacific Daylight Time. So there's a little bit of a transitional energy this morning. Could already be feeling the emotion of Pisces right now. If you do, take time for reflection. Seek a still point within to find your inner balance. The world's really chaotic right now, isn't it? And so when the moon moves into Pisces and Cancer and other Scorpio, then things can get a little emotional. And maybe we have a hard time maintaining an emotional balance between head and heart, intellect and emotions. So you just want to take responsibility for that and go ahead and go within and try to find that balance before you interact with others. There's going to be a trine between the moon and Mercury today. It's going to foster easy communication, but sometimes that can mean you get a little ahead of yourself and maybe you start manipulating. So just avoid that. Don't manipulate today. Live in truth, express that truth to others, maintain that integrity, and you should do well today. Down at the bottom where the human design section is, if you're following along on the esoteric influences, that's over there on the blog. I recommend following along simply because you can see the human design chart at that time, which I don't show here, but you can see it there. So that's kind of cool to look at. But you want to work behind the scenes to find clarification today and search for the underlying cause or message. Avoid frustration if it seems that you're getting nowhere because opposing forces might be at work. Remain positive and away from others who wish to thwart progress. Okay. You have a lot of it's going to come from the federal government, because now that they've decided to send our children back to school, they're likely going to try to hold funds away from states if they don't. Can you imagine this? Well, you're thinking about it now, so of course you can. But I mean, my kids were ultimately homeschooled, so this if we still had kids at home, they would be homeschooled, and this would be a non-issue for us. But for everybody else that doesn't do that, and you're going to send your kids back to school, or you would like to, you really can't, because there's no way to do it. We have to understand something. We have a percentage, and it's a significant one, big enough to cause problems this way, that they're not wearing masks out there. Even when there's a mask order in place, they're not doing it. And from what they're telling us, when you're asymptomatic, you can still get lung damage, not show any symptoms. And they're looking at they're doing x-rays on these people now, and they're finding lung damage. They didn't have any symptoms, or at least none that alerted them to just think, oh my God, do I have this? So there was nothing that did that for them. They just breezed right through it. Maybe thought it was an allergy, but it wasn't. Turns out they had the virus. Now they got lung damage. What's that about? So we're learning the consequences of this virus. Not the consequences necessarily of our behavior within it, but just what the virus can do itself when we don't know. How could any of us make the choice to not wear a mask, to not wear gloves? How can any of us make that choice? But because we are, now we have a government that says, oh no, we're going to go back and we're going to force this, we're going to force the governors to reopen the schools. They can't Make sure our children, what happens in September when the kids go back to school? Y'all know everybody gets sick. They get sick, they come home, they infect the family, everybody gets sick, right? You spend September and October being sick because the kids go back to school. It's just what happens. It's normal, right? Everybody knows it. We all expect it. It's like, okay, we're going to get a cold. What are we going to get? I mean, you at least get a cold, don't you? It's normal. Well, now we're going to be going back with COVID, with kids. What if they're asymptomatic? What if they're doing fine? What if they're not? Kids get this. So the government is nuts. They're nuts. And you have to ask yourself, why do they want this to happen? Why is it fine for something to happen to our children? Do they not understand that's the message they're sending? You got parents that are freaked out about this. They're not sending their kids back. They're not. And now, and I guess Harvard and MIT, I read this morning, they filed a lawsuit against ICE to stop them from deporting the college students that are international, the foreign students that are here. If you don't have if they're saying, if you're going to stay here, you have to be physically attending classes that don't exist because they're online right now, and they're going to be for the foreseeable future. So now they have to go back and they can't finish their education. Because they can't be here. What if they don't have good internet where they are? What if they can't continue to go to school online? See, that's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to figure out a way to affect immigration this way. This is the most punitive and dictatorial government I didn't even think this was possible in this country. Well, under normal times it isn't actually. But right now, apparently it is. And so this is what they're doing to them. So Harvard and MIT, I guess, have filed suit to stop this. I mean, the number of foreign students that come to this place, that come to this country for education, if these institutions lose that money, it's like, what are they doing? It's like the only thing they seem to want to do is cause chaos and kill people, because that's what's happening. Because we never got on the same page together, because the government didn't say, hey guys, this is terrible, we've got to all do this. I guarantee you we wouldn't be where we are. I guarantee it. People who are confused about this being a sovereignty issue would have followed their dear leader, and they'd all be wearing masks. If we actually had somebody with any amount of intelligence there who wasn't warped. Because only a warped person would do this. Only a warped person would suggest we send our kids back right now. Because you don't want to buy into the lie that children aren't affected, because they are. 7,000 of them came down with it in Florida. Oh, but now they're controlling how much of that we know, aren't they? Yeah. This is such a bad thing. Such a bad thing. So I guess, if we're not trying to figure out, like it says with the human design chart today, if we're not trying to figure out what in the heck is going on here, why does the federal government want to harm everyone? Because that's clear. Are they trying to demoralize us to the point that we cannot fight back? Is that what it is? Do they have so much in store for us between now and November that they want to keep us from fighting back because we're all sick and we can't? What is going on here? What is this government doing to us? That's what I want to know. I don't care about, I care about the virus because I don't want to get it, right? I don't want my husband to get it. Don't want my kids to get it, my granddaughter. I don't want anyone to get this. No one I know. I don't care if I can't stand the person. I don't want anyone to get this. But I do want to know what the government's doing and why. And why all of a sudden we can have all this criminality and nobody bats an eye. Well, they tried. But, there's more Republicans in the Senate than there are Democrats, and so the guy's still there. Why? What do they get out of it? Watching everyone suffer. See, they can't be bothered to give stimulus checks out, to keep everybody in food. Well, we don't want unemployment because, they might want to stay on it. Do they not know how unemployment works? Are they so divorced from reality, from what the everyday person experiences, that they don't even know how unemployment works? Grow up. They need to grow up, or they need to go home. Because that's what's going to happen to them in November. People are tired of this. Even the ones who voted for them, they're tired of it. They finally maybe are starting to see that, what are you guys doing? And aren't you tired of always having to look to see what the people in charge are doing? Because it's never good. And it always hurts you, right? When you're suddenly having to go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, that's where we are now. The thing is you can't follow along with them. You've got to stand in your own power. Use this energy of the 8 today to stand in your own power. Speak truth to power. Stand up and say, no, 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 no. There's something wrong here. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my own counsel. I'm going to stay safe from this thing. I'm going to wear a mask and gloves when I go out. I'm going to socially distance. If I don't trust the situation I'm in, I'm going to leave. And just protect yourself. It's sad you have to protect yourself not only from the virus and the federal government, but and in some states from your own governor. I'm lucky. I live in Oregon. I don't have to worry about that. But apparently other states do. So don't listen to those idiots and protect yourself and protect everybody else. If it doesn't feel comfortable for you to be out and about, then go home. That's what we do. My husband and I, we get this look and we're looking at each other and we don't have to say a word. We just go to the car. It's like, okay, we're done. Let's go home. We don't even have to say a word to one another. We just both look at each other. We get the look in our eyes and we go. It's like, this isn't worth it today. Whatever we need, we can wait. If we can get it online, let's just do that. True, it doesn't stimulate local business, but if local businesses are going to act stupid, then they don't need to have any, maybe, because they're not going to at some point, right? Yeah. This is getting old. But this thing that they just, and here's the other thing. It's not just the schools they want to reopen. It's that now they're telling us we all have to live with it. Mr. I don't wear a mask anywhere wants us all to live with it now. Yeah. They've given up, you see. They know that they messed up. I was going to say something a little more vulgar, but I won't. They messed up, and they're continuing to mess up. And I suspect when all is said and done and we get beyond this and a new president is put in, we'll figure out just how badly and what they did. Because now I guess it was ProPublica, and it might have been someone else too I think it was ProPublica at least that was involved in this. Apologies if it wasn't you guys, but I thought that's what I read, that y'all sued, and now we've got the lists of where the money went, the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP stuff. Yeah, we had religious organizations and churches get it. We had the donor class in the Republican Party get it. We had the billionaires get it. We had the big businesses that are supporters of this guy. All of these people, some of whom should not have gotten a dime, got all this, and now there's nothing for the little guy, for the small business. We're going to find out that our money has been given away to keep him in office. That's what we're going to find out. I predict it. I predict it. That's what we're going to find out, that he's focusing this stuff on people that will get him reelected. We have to make sure that doesn't happen. Why would you zip tie chairs together and not, why at a rally at Mount Rushmore? Why would you zip tie the chairs together to force everybody to stay together and not be able to socially distance there? Why weren't masks required? Why were children allowed there? Is a picture emerging for you? I hope it is. You better understand what's going on here. You better understand and make the right decision for yourself and your family, because it's on all of us to do that now. Hopefully you live in a state where your governor is on board with all of this and understands the seriousness of this. But if you don't, oh Lord, it's on you. No matter what, nonsense you hear from people no matter how they taunt you or demean you for wanting to stay safe, stay safe. Do what you have to do. Protect yourself, protect your family, and stay safe and stay well. We need everyone. It's not okay that people are getting sick like this. It's not okay. This thing could have burned out, but oh no, not with this guy in office. Never going to. Thanks to him. So, there you go. Take care of yourself today, please. The virus is getting worse. It's spreading worse. More and more people are getting it. Please, please wear a mask, wear gloves. Don't go out if you don't have to. And maybe we'll welcome a new president in January. Because I don't know what's going to happen in this country if we don't. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk again tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and do the tarot and rune reading here. I'm going to watch this, and then I'm going to do that, and I'll post this, and it'll be over on the left side panel of the blog, so we'll somewhat daily tarot and rune when I'm done with that. And or you can watch it on YouTube, wherever you want to watch it. I just hope you do. So anyway, this will also go onto Instagram, and so you can look for it there as well. Thanks again for watching. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Wear a mask, and blessed be.